All right, having given a brief overview of this entire short course and the episodes within it, now we're going to talk about the emotion of the emotions, which is love. What you love is going to determine what you desire, what you find joy in, what you hate, what you have an aversion to, what makes you sad, what you hope in, what you have the feeling of daring towards accomplishing, what makes you angry, what makes you despair, and what makes you afraid. It's all based on love. And we're going to describe that here in this episode. And we're also going to describe why it is true, the saying, "Show me what a man loves, and I will show you who he is." So beginning with what we like to call, what St. Thomas calls a natural love, there is a sense in which we can say that when I let go of the stone and it falls, it loves to go downward. It loves unity. When the plant turns towards the sun, it has a love towards growth. Everything existing tends towards its own perfection, propagation, and preservation. Those are the 3 P's that everything tends towards. Those things which they tend towards, we can say they have a natural love for. The technical phrase here is there's a connaturality. There's a suitability of the thing which they are pursuing with their nature, in the same way that a sheep instinctively flees from the wolf, or a baby will turn to nurse from its mother. This is a natural kind of love. Now, stones and plants, they don't feel, so this is not necessarily the passion of love. The passion of love, as Aquinas calls it, is a complacency, in the object of sense, in the perceived good. And that's the important takeaway when it comes to love, and we'll give a few examples here. Love is the passion that is elicited in us, the complacency in us when we perceive something which we take to be a good. So if you walk into a room and you see a slice of pizza on the table, if you take pizza to be good, when you sense the pizza, before you can desire it, you're going to first take at heart, in your sensual nature, a kind of complacency in it. That is love. So what you love will then determine what you dislike, what you hate. So if you love hot showers, you're also going to dislike the opposite of that, which is cold showers. So that's why love can spill over into other emotions very quickly. And so this sensual passion of love tells you about you. So in one way, it tells you about your nature. So you are inclined to some things by nature. So the baby turning to nurse from its mother, that love, that tendency tells the baby, if the baby was self-reflective, that it is a human being. But there's a second thing we call second nature. So you have your human nature. You build upon that nature virtues and vices. Those virtues and vices, your character, is what we call second nature. And that causes you to tend to certain things as good to you or evil to you based on your virtues and vices. So you and the person next to you who are looking at the slice of pizza, if you're more of a spiritual person, if you're one who's practicing abstinence and fasting and your delights are more in the eternal spiritual God, well, then your love for the pizza, because you don't take it as great of a good, will be lesser. The guy next to you, let's say he has the vice of gluttony and he's a very carnal man. He's separated from God. Well, he's going to take the pizza to be much better. He will see it as a greater good because of who he is, because of that second nature of vice, or maybe not living in a state of grace. So show me what a man loves and I will show you who he is. It rings true because of our virtues and vices, and because of, just based on nature, connaturality that we have with certain things, certain items which are good for us. Okay, now why then is love the emotion of emotions? And it is because it is the one most directly related to the good, to the perceived good. So the perceived good elicits love. That's what love is. So perceived plus good equals the emotion of love. And because from the good flows what you take to be evil, all the rest of the emotions, which we're going to describe in the next episode, flow from love. Because again, what you perceive to be good, you will then desire, you will then take joy, and if you acquire it, you will be afraid of losing it, you will hope to gain it, you will be angry if that good is threatened or attacked. So all of the emotions flow from love. And so the practical takeaway from what love is, in a natural sense, it just denotes a suitability, connaturality with the thing which we tend towards for our own perfection. As a passion, it's elicited from perceiving what we take to be good. The takeaway from all of this, practically speaking, is to take inventory of one's loves. What do you love? Because what you love tells you what you take to be good and the greatest goods in your own life. From there, you can see, is this ordered correctly? Are my greatest loves the spiritual and eternal goods, or is it something else? What you love tells you about you. And I'll also tell people, write down a list of the 10 things you love the most, and then know for certain that all of your sorrow and pain is going to be caused by those things. Because again, what we love will, the absence of which or the loss of which will be sorrow. And we're going to get into that. But it's just good to know that all of your sufferings, your mental sufferings, anguish, is going to come from those loves. Now, some of those loves might be rightly ordered, your love of your spouse, your love of your children, your love of God. Sorrows can come from this. Your love of God may cause you to sorrow in those who despise God or have left God. Your love of your wife may cause you sorrow or pain when she sorrows and pains, because love unites. Friendship, our friends we take to be another of ourself, an alter sui, but just it's good to know that these loves right here are going to be the cause of all my pain. And ought I to place my heart in these things? From that list, from self-reflection and prayer, each one of us should move towards repentance. We should always be repenting, turning towards God in a greater way by turning away from the created and temporal goods, which may be a distraction, which may sap our love from God. So this is what love is. It is the complacency in the object sensed. In natural cases, simply speaking, it is just a connaturality with an object which will lead us to our perfection. And it is useful for us to know what it is so that we can determine where our heart is and where we can turn in greater ways towards our one true love, which is God. So we're now covering the first passion, the love of loves, the emotion of emotions, which is love. Now we're going to zoom out into the broader distinction of the categories of the emotions, which is the concupiscible and all the emotions within it, and then the irascible, which is our next episode.